So hi all, welcome to another video lecture. In this video lecture we will see the datetime module in Python. So in Python the datetime module is a built-in library that provides classes for manipulating dates and times. It helps you work with dates, times, combination of date and time, the time differences and the different time zones. Okay, so basically in dates, right, we have two kinds of dates. Okay, one are the naive dates and one is the aware dates. Okay, so naive dates are dates which has no attached time zones. Okay, and aware dates on the other hand are dates which have attached time zones. Okay, which have attached time zones. Okay, so this is the only basic difference between the naive dates and the aware dates. So let us go ahead and let us look at the naive date for the moment. Okay, and later on we will discuss about the aware dates. So for us to go ahead and import the date time, we just simply need to go ahead and say import date time. Okay, let us now go ahead and create a naive date time. So for us to go ahead and create a naive date time, let us create a variable named as dt, and here we will simply say datetime dot datetime, and here we will go ahead and pass in the year, month, day, hour, minute, second and microsecond over here. Okay, so in year let us mention 2025, month as 12, day as 23, hour as 7, okay, minute as let's say 34, second as 23, and microsecond as let us say 45,000. Okay, and let us go ahead and let's print this and let us run this. Once we run this, if you just look at the date, right, looking at the date you will realize that this by default this is in ISO format. Okay, so ISO format is having the format of YYYY-MM-DD, that is year, month and day format. This is what we call as the ISO format, and this is the standard format, okay, in which the dates are represented. Okay, so by default this is an ISO format, and if we go ahead and if we want to only represent the date out of this, okay, then we can simply go ahead and we can simply say dt dot date. If we go ahead and if we print this dt dot date, okay, let us put this, see it will give you the date. Okay, and if you go ahead, if you want to put dt dot time, it will give you the timestamp. Okay, now let us go ahead and let us see how we can convert this entire date time to text. Okay, or rather how we can change the formatting of these date times. Okay, so for us to go ahead and change the formatting of this date time, we will be using a function known as str. We'll be using a function strftime. Okay, so dt dot strftime over here, right, and let us go ahead and let us pass this in another variable strftime, and within this we need to provide a format. So what is going to be the format, right? Let's put double quotes, and within this we will go ahead and we will convert this in dd-mm-yyyy. So we will type %d. %d represents the date, okay, the date, then dash %m represents the month, and then dash %y, capital Y, represents the year. So we should be these all are case sensitive. Okay, so do not place capital D. Okay, it will not work. It has to be small d for the date, small m for the month, and capital Y is for the year. Okay, once we go ahead and once we print the dt2, we will realize that this has converted it into dd-mm-yyyy. Okay, but this is not in a date time format. Okay, this is not actually a date time value. Okay, this is the text value. Okay, if I go ahead and if I type want to print the type of this value, right? What is the type? You will realize that this date is a string, it belongs to a string class. Okay, whereas this particular date over here, this belongs to a datetime class. Okay, so this is the function of strf time. What it does, it converts date time to string. Okay, now let us say if we want to do the reverse. Let us say we have a date. Okay, we have a date basically, and we want to convert in string format, and we want to convert it into date time. So for that, what we will do, we will go ahead, let us pass one more variable dt3, and we will say dt2, right? Not dt2, datetime dot we will be using a function known as strp_time, and within this accepts a date string. So here we will mention dt2 because dt2 is of string type. So here the date should be a date string. Okay, and comma, and we should mention the type of the format in which this string is in. Okay, so this string is in dd-mm-yyyy. So we will copy this and we will paste it here. Okay, and once we go ahead and again print dt3, okay, you will see that it will convert it into standard datetime format, right? It has converted it into YYYMMDD, that is the ISO format. So this is in the standard datetime. And how is it datetime? If I go ahead and if I print this type, it will give me the datetime class. Okay, so this has been converted to datetime. So strp_time, what it does, it converts string to datetime. Okay, that's what it does. Now let us go ahead and let us see how we can change the time zones of this particular time, of this particular date time. Correct. So before jumping onto the time zone, right, I want to go ahead and show you how we can get the today's date. Okay, so to get the today's date, we will just simply say datetime dot today, and if we print this, we will get today's date time. So if you just look at this, right, it is giving me 2025 06 29 16 28 04. So this is our current, like our current local system time over here. Okay, and this is a naive date time. Okay, there is one more function, dt2 equals to datetime dot now. Okay, now it is also going to go ahead and give me the same value, dt2. If I go ahead and do this, if I run both of them, you will see it is giving me the same value, exactly the same value. Okay, so but where exactly lies the difference, right? Today it is a naive date time, but now it is actually an aware date time. And the reason why it is an aware date time, because I have the provision to go ahead and specify the time zone inside it. If you look at it, I have the provision to go ahead and specify this time zone. Okay, so if you look at this tz info, right, tz info, it basically it will give you the provision to enter which time zone you want to go ahead and represent this time, right? So currently my time, currently right now I am in Kolkata right now, right? So if I want to go ahead and convert this into some other time zone, I can go ahead and do that. Okay, so let us see how we can go ahead and convert a particular date into different time zones. So for that, we will import another module which we will call as pytz. Okay, so if you don't have this pytz, you can just say pip install pytz. Okay, run it over here in your terminal and you will go ahead and you will get it. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are simply going to go ahead and we are going to say tz is equals to pytz dot, and here I am going to say, let's say UTC. Okay, Now if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this, you see today's date is this, right? And now it has converted this particular date into UTC date time. See, this is now what is UTC date time, 11:0015. So if we are having 16, that is if it is 4:30 here in Kolkata, that means in UTC, according to UTC time, it is 11 a.m. in Greenwich Mean Time, according to Greenwich Mean in Greenland. Okay, so this is how we can go ahead and convert it, okay, into different time zone. Now how we are going to go ahead and check how many time zones are there, right? So for checking all the time zones, right, we can simply go ahead and run a for loop. We will say for time zone in pytz dot all time zones, okay, and we will simply print the time zone. Once we print the time zone, you will see all the time zones will come into picture, right? So we have used this UTC. Okay, so let us go ahead and let us check some of the time zones. Okay, so if I want to go ahead and if I want to see what is the time zone of USA, right? There in USA there are different time zones, so we can go ahead and we can use one of them, right? Let's say I want to go ahead and I want to check what is the US time zone in central region, so I can go ahead and use the US/central. Okay, so let us go ahead and let us check that. Okay, so let us create a naive date. Okay, let us create a naive date. dt is equals to datetime dot datetime, and within this let us go ahead and let us pass the same. Okay, 3 7 334 45,000. Okay, if I go ahead and if I print this, this is a naive date for the moment. Okay, but now this date time belongs to which particular time zone, it's not specified. Okay, by default any naive date time has the time zone of the local system time zone. Okay, it catches the local system time zone. Okay, and I will go ahead and I will prove that right now. Okay, so this particular time zone over here, right, if I go ahead and if I create one more date, dt dot, now I will go ahead and I will use this function as time zone, and within this, inside this, I will use tz equals to pytz. Okay, dot, now I will convert it into different time zones. I will say time zone, and within this I have to go ahead and I will have to pass the zone. So which zone it is, right? So currently, since I am in Kolkata right now, so I will be using Asia/Kolkata. Okay, and now I will go ahead and I will print this dt2. If I run this, it should give me the same value. See, it has given me the same value. If you just look at this, right, it has given me the same value, except for the difference in dt2 is that it has specified the offset. This is the offset, that how much we are ahead or we are behind the UTC time. So UTC is 00.00 because that's the reference line, and Asia/Kolkata is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. That's why it is representing plus 0530. Okay, because this represents the offset. So as you can see, right, it is not like the naive date time do not have a time zone. They obviously have a time zone. So by default they pick the time zone of the local system. If you run this in US Central or in US Michigan, right, it will give you the respective time zone of US Central and US Michigan. Okay, but that is the problem of night def, right, because it becomes local system defined. Now I want to go ahead and I want to specify that this particular date time belongs to which particular time zone. So for that I will just place a comma here, and here this is tz info. Okay, this gives you the provision to go ahead and specify which time zone it really belongs to. So I will say tz info is equals to pytz dot time zone, and within this I will go ahead and I will specify which time zone it has. Okay, so if I go ahead and if I say that this particular time belongs to Asia/Kolkata, right, I will have to place this in under quotes. Okay, so now this one will go ahead and this will Python will now understand that this date belongs to Asia, Kolkata. Okay, because right now I'm in local system, so it won't make any difference. It's the same. Let us go ahead and let us replace this with UTC. Right now Python will realize that this particular date belongs to UTC time. Right now, now you will see that once now I run this code, right now, since this is UTC, 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of this particular time, that is 7:23, right, it will go ahead and give me the value. Okay, if I go ahead and run this, you will just see that now this is UTC, and now after 5 hours 30 minutes, okay, of offset, this has given me the final value, that is 12 hours 53 minutes and 34 seconds. Okay, if you subtract both of them, you will get 5 hours 30 minutes only. Okay, if you go ahead and if you replace this with, let's say, US/central, okay, it will go ahead and it will take this as the reference. So if I run this, you see this is going to give me the value exactly, right? So from Greenwich Mean Time, US Central is 5 hours 51 minutes behind, and India is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead. So if you add both of them, this is the time it will come. Okay, so if it is 7:23 a.m. in US, then in India it is going to be 18:44, that is 6:44 p.m. in India. This is what it means. So here is the provision how you can actually specify. So from naive date, this becomes it becomes an aware date right now, just when you mention the time zone over here. Okay, so now that we have seen that how we can convert it into different time zones, right, now let us go ahead and let us see how we can express the difference between two date times. Okay, and we can do this with the help of time delta. So if we want to go ahead and we want to go, let's say, X days ahead or X days behind a particular date, right, we want to know what is going to be the date time after 30 days or after 45 days, right, after a specific time, after a specific time duration of date, that we can go ahead and we can do it with the help of time delta. So let us go ahead and let us see that. So we will simply say dt, that is date time dot time delta, and within this we will pass in the days, right? If I go ahead and if I say 40 days equals to 40, this is simply going to mean that this duration is 40 days. Okay, and let us store this in t delta. Okay, and now what we are going to do, we are simply going to say print. Now I need a date time, right? So I will say dt, let's say, plus t delta. What this will do, this will go ahead and this will add 40 days in this particular date time. Okay, so if I go ahead and if I run this, right, and you will see that this particular date time over here, right, it has given me what is going to be the date time after 40 days. So if it is 23rd of December 2025, then after 40 days this becomes 1st of February 2026. Okay, now I can obviously go ahead and I can change the unit. Okay, if I want to go back, then I can simply go 40 days back as well. Okay, and I can also change the unit. So let's say I want to go ahead and I want to specify hours. Okay, so hours equals to 40, right? So this has to be ahead. Let's say I want to go ahead 40 hours. Okay, so what will this do? 23rd of December 2025, it is 7:23 a.m. So after 40 hours ahead, it is going to be next day, that is 24th of December 2025, and 23, that is 11:23 p.m. Okay, so this is what it means. Okay, so with this we have the flexibility to go ahead and we can change a particular date, we can move forward and we can also move backward in date. Okay, so this is the way how we can go ahead and use time delta to do that. Okay, also if we want to go ahead and convert a particular date into proper timestamp, we can also do that as well, right? We can simply go ahead and we can say dt dot timestamp. Okay, so this will go ahead and this will convert this. Okay, this will go ahead and this is going to convert this into proper timestamp value. Okay, and if I want to go ahead and if I want to convert this back into a particular date value, right? If we have this timestamp, this is in seconds. So if I want to go ahead and if I want to convert this back into proper date value from a timestamp, we can also go ahead and do it. We can simply say dt dot or dt dot from timestamp from timestamp, and within this we have to pass the timestamp. So let us go ahead and let us pass this timestamp. Okay, and let us print this. Okay, once we print this, you will see that this particular date, right, has been converted into the local system time zone. It has picked the local system time zone. Okay, it has not picked this. It should ideally it should be 072334, but this has converted this into the local system time zone, that is of Asia, Kolkata. Okay, so just keep this in mind that this will always go ahead and provide us with the local system time zone. Okay, if you want to go ahead and if you want to get this one converted into, let's say, the US Central, then you will also have to go ahead and use this. Okay, we have to go ahead and we will say as time zone, and within this we have to mention this. Okay, pytz, and we will simply go ahead, and once if I go ahead and run this, you see now this is giving the US Central time zone. Okay, so this is the way how we can go ahead and we can play around with the timestamp. We can convert it into different time zone. We can go ahead and we can apply time delta. We can go ahead and move forward in time, backward in time. We can also go ahead and change the unit. So all these flexibility are provided here. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed this session, and I hope you really got some clarity on date time. Okay, it's a very important function. Also you can go ahead and you can check the Python module over here, right? In the Python documentation, you can go ahead and check out the datetime have a lot of function, so you can go ahead and you can check it. Datetime.min year, datetime.max year, you will see that the largest year allowed in date or datetime is 9,999. Okay, so all these information is provided in this documentation, so you can go ahead and you can take a look at this. Okay, so that's it guys, thank you, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.